In this video we're going to calculate the length of a catenary. Now I've drawn it on this diagram here. We've got two poles which have it suspended a chain which is making the curve 12 cosh x over 12. Now for the purpose of this calculation here, I'll put them on the x-axis as 10 to minus 10, which is going to help us with our calculations. And then all catenaries will make this arc here a cosh x over a. So that's a typical catenary. So in this case, our a equals 12. Okay, so how do we calculate the length of this catenary? Right, okay, well an arc length is calculated using integration. So if I use a variable L equals the integral from A to B, so that's the 2 points where the pole suspending the catenary is, and then it's the square root of 1 plus f prime of x, and then this is all squared and then integrated with regards to x. So here, this integral, we would use our function here, 12 cosh x over 12. So if we let that equal our f of x, so that's 12 cosh x over 12. And then what we would do is, to get our f prime, we simply just take the derivative of this, and then we can plug that into there and square it. So let's go straight into that. So f prime of x equals, derivative of cosh is sinh. We keep our constant multiple 12, and then our input stays the same, that's x over 12. And by the chain rule, derivative of x over 12 is 1 over 12. So we end up with 12 over 12, which we cancel out, and now we're left with sinh of x over 12 for our derivative. Okay, now if you want to know how we get to this formula here for an arc length, leave a comment below and I'll make a video on how we get to this point here. Okay, now our A and our B is our points where our poles holding our catenary are suspended. Well, they are going to be on minus 10 and positive 10. So that's going to be our A and our B. So A equals minus 10, B equals positive 10. So all that's left to do now is to plug that into our integral, and let's find the integral of that. Okay, so L equals, A is minus 10, B is positive 10, and then we got the square root of 1 plus sinh of x over 12, quantity squared. So we write that like that, and then squared, we can just put that there. Okay, and then integrate with regards to x. Okay, right, let's integrate this. So we've got the square root term there, 1 plus sinh squared. Now there's an identity here for cosh and sinh, which we can use. So we know that cosh squared of x minus sinh squared of x, that equals 1. So therefore we know that 1 plus sinh squared of x equals cosh of x, cosh squared of x. So I can now change my radical here inside and just write cosh squared of x. So let's do that. So now we've got minus 10 to 10 square root of cosh squared of x over 12. And with regards to x, okay, well, as this is contained inside the square root, we can just square root what's inside, and therefore we can just get rid of this square root term. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so now we've got minus 10 to 10. The square root disappears, and I just write now cosh of x over 12 dx. So now we can integrate this. That's pretty straightforward integration. So now what we get now, just go straight in, integral of cosh is sinh. Input's going to stay the same. But now what we need to do now is take the reciprocal of the derivative inside our input, which is now going to be reciprocal of 1 over 12 is 12. So that's what we got there for a result of our integration, and then we calculate it from minus 10 to 10. Okay, so let's do that. So now we've got 12 times sinh of 10 over 12. I know we can simplify, but so we can see what we're doing. And then we'll subtract it from sinh of minus 10 over 12. Okay, let's do that. Okay, well, if you plug in your calculator 12 sinh 10 over 12, you'll get approximately 11.198. So let's put that in there. So for that, we've got 11.198, all multiplied by 12. Now here, we've got minus sinh of minus 10 over 12. Now there's an identity here we can use to help this, to make this a little bit more simple, where we've got sinh of minus x over, let's say, a. That equals minus sinh of x over a. So we can take the minus sign out and bring it out to the front. Well, if we do that to this one, this minus sign will become a positive. So therefore we can add the same result as we got for 12 times sinh of 10 over 12. So then we're going to add 11.198. Okay, so adding those together, we're going to get approximately 22.396-ish. So if we round that up to one decimal place, we'll get 22.4. So that equals 22.4. And as we want to know our quantity in meters, our answer is, okay, 22.4 meters. That's the length of our catenary here. Now in the next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate the length underneath it and compare the two values and see if there's any kind of relation between the two. Okay.